Previously, I came across this article stating that Malaysia could reach a high income status by 2028. That's just 4 years away. But aren't you curious about what it takes for Malaysia to jump from a middle income to a high income nation? And most importantly, are we even on track to do that? But before that, we have to understand what exactly is a high income nation. According to the World Bank, an economy is defined as high income when its gross national income (GNI) per capita is more than $14,000. In 2023, our GNI per capita stood at around $12,000. While the official GNI for 2024 is not yet available, Malaysia's GDP in Q3 2024 recorded a strong growth of 5.3% year over year, an improvement of at least 2% compared to 2023. Since GNI is closely tied to GDP, we can reasonably expect an improvement in GNI as well. However, it's important to know that on top of the GDP, GNI also accounts for the income earned by Malaysians abroad, minus the income earned by foreigners over here, which usually for Malaysia is an outflow for the past years. Even if these outflows seem significant, they only slightly reduce the impact of GDP growth on GNI. That's why with the strong GDP growth, I think we are still on track to being a high income nation, at least on paper. However, strong economic growth alone isn't enough to achieve high income status. A strong currency matters as well because the value of Malaysian ringgit directly impacts the GNI when measured in US dollars. If the ringgit weakens, even solid economic growth might not translate into a high GNI. You know, just like how you need more money to buy an iPhone, or traveling to another country costs so much more when the ringgit is doing badly. You see, with the ringgit averaging 4.59 against the US dollar in 2023, Malaysia's GNI per capita stands at $11,970. However, had it maintained its 2020 average of 4.02, our GNI could have reached around $13,680, bringing us much closer to the high income threshold. And as we all know, in 2024, we did see a moment of optimism when the ringgit briefly strengthened to around 4.1 against the US dollar at the end of September. This is supposed to be a promising sign showing that the ringgit can indeed recover. But as of the recording of this video, the ringgit has settled around 4.4, just a slight improvement from 2023's 4.59. Well, better than nothing, right? Speaking of US dollar, if you want to protect your Ringgit Malaysia from depreciation, then look no further. Our amazing sponsor Moomoo has got you covered. If you haven't checked them out yet, Moomoo is changing the entire Malaysian investment landscape ever since they got fully licensed last year. You can now trade or invest in Bursa Malaysia starting at a super low cost of 3 ringgit per order, and also only 99 US cents per trade in the US stock market. Plus, you get a whole lot of useful features like the economic and earnings calendar, stock screener on steroids, and live news from reputable sources like Bloomberg, Benzinga, and Barron's. And the best of all, they are all free for lifetime. Currently, it offers a US top regular savings plan. You can now invest in the S&P 500 regularly with as little as $5 per month. It's like a fixed deposit, but much more flexible. You can choose to invest daily, weekly, or monthly and adjust it anytime. There's also an investment calculator that shows how putting your money into stocks could lead to significant growth, potentially doubling or even increasing sixfold in just 5 years. So feel free to use my link down below to get amazing sign-up rewards worth up to 1,800 ringgit. It's essentially free money while the campaign lasts. I'll update all the latest deals for you over at the pinned comment down below. Alright, let's get back to the video. On the 10th of June 2024, something kinda big happened: the removal of diesel subsidies. Now, while these moves spark debates, here's why it's important for Malaysia's journey to becoming a high-income nation. This subsidy removal saves the government 4 billion ringgit annually, which could fund about 3 to 4 stations of the new MRT3, where each station costs around 1.3 billion ringgit. Quite significant, right? Let's say we save 4 billion ringgit yearly for 10 years. We could have almost covered the entire MRT3 project. This doesn't just mean smoother commutes, less traffic, hopefully, and more time saved for work. It also helps strengthen our fiscal stability. What do I mean by that? Well, fiscal stability refers to the government's ability to balance its spending and revenue, and also reduce and manage debt more efficiently. Think about it. Stronger fiscal stability means Malaysia relies less on borrowing and has more funds to invest in long-term growth like infrastructures. just like how Singapore's brilliant MRT system boosts productivity by enabling people to work more efficiently, ultimately contributing to an increase in the country's GDP. If we adopt a similar infrastructure system and increase our work efficiency, instead of waiting 35 minutes just to move 2 stations, our economy would grow so much stronger, and who knows, we might even attract foreign talents and investments, which would lead us closer to a high-income nation. But I know, there are also debates about how this cut leads to increased inflation and higher living costs. So how can we balance it out? Well, not everything is about numbers. Beyond these GDP and GNI numbers, what the Malaysian government can do to help us fight these high living costs is by elevating the income of Malaysians. And one way to do that is to attract more global businesses. With more global companies like Google, Amazon, and Nvidia entering Malaysia, it helps drive economic growth, creates more quality jobs, and transfers their knowledge and technical know-how to all of us. In the first half of 2024 alone, Malaysia secured 160 billion ringgit in foreign direct investment (FDI), an impressive 18% year-on-year increase, which is expected to create over 33,000 high-value jobs. And not only this, several game plans are being rolled out by the government to help Malaysia attract higher value FDI, one of them being the National Semiconductor Strategy (NSS), which was introduced in May last year, a strategy to help Malaysia to become a big player in the global semiconductor industry. Now, why semiconductors? It's not just because they are everywhere in your phone, your laptop, or even your electric car, but also because we already have that strong foundation as the 6th largest semiconductor exporter globally, driving 40% of our export output. But here's the thing, most of what we do now is only at the lower end of the value chain, things like assembly, packaging, and testing only. So this NSS isn't just about attracting big global players, it's also about helping us to get a piece of the pie. The government plans to invest in skills training, pushing for more research and innovation so that Malaysia can design and produce more advanced high-tech stuff instead of just assembling them. And with that, they are building a future where Malaysia gets higher value jobs and more investments. And you know what that means? A stronger national income. But can we really achieve this? Honestly, it's still too early to say, as this is a 10-year roadmap after all. So let's revisit the next few years to see if we are heading in the right direction. The good news, at least now, Malaysia has a clear plan and seems to be on track to be a high-income nation. However, there are still some challenges that we'll face along the way. First and foremost, the aging population, something that Japan is struggling with right now. And guess what? We are heading in the same direction too. According to DOSM, Malaysia is expected to become an aging nation by 2030. Now, why is this a huge issue? Well, human capital, that's us, are one of the main resources driving the economy. A smaller and older population means fewer workers, which forces businesses to compete for talent. This pushes up wages and increases production costs that are eventually passed on to us as the consumers. And on top of that, with fewer workers, output may decline, which leads to a lower supply of goods and services. And you know what happens when demand stays high but supply drops? Prices go up. Yep, inflation again. Now, you might say, it's okay lah, the government can just adjust interest rates to control inflation ma. True, but remember, there are bigger forces that disrupt this fragile supply-demand balance, like climate change, the ongoing wars that doesn't seem to stop anytime soon, and also global uncertainties such as the tension between the US and China. It disrupts global supply chains, slows growth, and impacts Malaysia's exports. Yet, it also opens doors for businesses diversifying away from China. Similarly, Malaysia's BRICS partnership offers market access and tech exchanges, but risks hurting our relationship with the Western nations. But anyway, it looks like Malaysia is on track to becoming a high-income nation for now. And with a bright outlook for 2025, where the economy is projected to maintain its strong growth at 4.5 to 5.5%, things are looking promising. But we all know deep in our hearts as Malaysians, our politics and policies are still the main factor dragging our growth. Let's keep an eye on where Malaysia is headed on next, and do subscribe for more economic updates like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.